Thank you for joining us, Martin. What are the main areas of discussion for the APEC trade ministers?
Well, they very much want to create conditions to make trade easier with fewer tariffs and less red tape. That's for now. But they also want to lay the foundations for a free trade area of Asia Pacific. That's a long-term goal, but if they could do it, that would create the world's biggest trading agreement, and it would dwarf the agreement we've been talking about in recent months, RCEP, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. Now, RCEP is a grouping of 15 nations, and it's currently the world's biggest trading bloc. But a free trade area in Asia would dwarf that. It would be in Asia Pacific would dwarf that. It would be 21 countries, and it has the potential to create growth in trade and economies in many billions and billions of dollars. In the meantime, countries across the bloc are trying to increase the number of free trade agreements they've got with other countries. For example, Thailand, where the meeting is taking place, has FTAs, free trade agreements, with about 65% of its APEC trading partners. But its neighbors are doing better. In Vietnam, the figure's 73%. In Singapore, it's 96%. So Thailand will be having negotiations both in meetings and around meetings to try to push that up to at least 80%. And of course, APEC includes some of the world's biggest economies: China, the US, Japan, India, South Korea, and Russia, and so on.
Can we expect any new initiatives we haven't seen before, Martin?
Well, there is a big buzzword at this meeting, which is, let me get it right, the biocircular green economy. It's quite a mouthful, but it's got a fairly simple aim. Basically, what it says is that countries should make the most of their own natural resources and individual advantages. By doing that, that should make trade and commerce sustainable in the long run. Again, using Thailand as the example, they're focusing on 4 areas. Agriculture, of course, they want to make farming more efficient in this massive farming region. Health, they want to produce their own medicines and make this a center for medical tourism. Fuel, they want to use some of the byproducts from that huge agricultural industry to create biofuels. And tourism, they want to get back to pre-COVID levels when Thailand was one of the world leaders. Of course, anything APEC says or does is important because of the sheer scale. The 21 countries that make up APEC also make up just under half of the world's population and account for more than half of the world's GDP, gross domestic product. In other words, business earnings.